All right. Hello and welcome, everyone. Today's video is part of the ongoing effort to expand the public archive, which you can check out at brozime.com. I'm developing the public archive to be an all-in-one, easy-to-use guide for new and returning Warframe players. If you'd like to get early access to the project notes in progress, or to provide feedback or new ideas for the public archive, you can become a member on Patreon, or additionally, subscribe on Twitch. Thanks so much to all of my current subs and patrons for supporting the project. Now let's jump into the video. All right. Welcome, everyone. Today, we are going to be talking about doing the full TRIDOLON by yourself, which is to capture Terry, Gant, and Hydro. And also, this guide is for specifically completing the Nightwave challenge to kill or capture Hydro. We will, of course, be capturing Hydro, as that's what you're supposed to do for rewards. With that, I'm going to reiterate what is in my notes if you came from the site and the guide for the Nightwave, and that is to, if you don't have to, don't do this solo. It is a considerably worse experience to do this solo, and while you can do it solo, I would never advise such a thing. With that, this is quite a deep investment build that I'm going to be showing here, because it's kind of the only situation where I would suggest you even reason with the idea of soloing this, because it is just not fun otherwise, in my opinion. For that, we are going to be using Trinity subsumed with Dispensary. Dispensary you get from feeding the Helminth Protea, and it is very useful for this, for making it a lot more chill. You do not need to use Dispensary, and you could just use energy pads, but if you don't want to build a trillion energy pads and have that supplement the awful energy economy during this fight, you're going to want Dispensary instead, as it is going to make everything a lot more comfortable, and it will also help provide energy to your Necromech. The build for this is pretty simple. We run Prime Flow for being able to hold tons of energy, we have max efficiency, and we have a bunch of duration and a good enough amount of strength in order to have our Bless work well. And also, we have Adaptation. Adaptation is for just even more survivability to go on top of our Blessing, to make it so that we really, really don't have to worry about dying at all. We are also running Arcane Nullifier. Now, you might be asking yourself, hey, wait a minute. Arcane Nullifier comes from the Eidolons. How are you going to use this as a thing for a guide for it? The answer is to buy this. If you want to do this fight comfortably, you're going to have to buy this for Platinum. Arcane Nullifier, not expensive. But the magnetic procs during the fight, super annoying. If you're going to use energy pads and you don't need Dispensary, you could use any number of things to make you status immune, which will have the exact same effect as Arcane Nullifier, but it's also more annoying, and I wouldn't suggest doing it that way. Arcane Energize is obviously the very rare thing and very expensive thing that comes from Eidolons. You do not need this at all. We run max efficiency. We have Prime Flow. Like, we're doing the most to supplement that energy economy, and also, like, Dispensary is amazing. If you're not using Arcane Energize, you'll be very fine. And there are plenty of other arcanes you could be using, such as the Reload for Snipers arcane, which sometimes sees use here, but is normally not needed. Weapon-wise, we're using the Rubico Prime. The Rubico Prime, very good for this. It's good for Pop and Synovia. Solid, does damage, hasn't changed in a long time. Don't even have a primary arcane adapter on this because it is only used for this, and we're not getting kills with it. So by virtue of that, the arcane adapter is going to be completely useless until they introduce an arcane that has an immediate effect that increases our damage or increases our reload, and so on and so forth. You could put Merciless in here, and if you have Merciless in here, that's fine for that very small bonus, but it is not needed in any way, shape, or form. You do want to be on radiation damage, as that is what the Eidolon Synovias are weak to. Also, I have a secondary weapon that is AoE. This is just for clearing Vomvalus. This could be any number of things. There are plenty of things that work great. Mushroom is very good. Spore Lacer, Stitch, Haymaker. And then we have this build. This is just the normal thing that I use on Mushroom. Lots of upfront damage is important here, so you do want to have Hornet Strike on this, although Hornet Strike is not necessary 100%. You could use Galvanized Shot, but I find the upfront damage on Mushroom is what you usually want in actuality, because building up Galvanized Shot, there's no enemies in the game that need you to do that. It is worth noting that I do have Pax Seeker right now. Pax Charge is generally what I actually use for comfort. Pax Seeker is better in the vast majority of situations, but Charge is nice for never having to reload it and just knowing that your weapon is always going to be charged up. So we are going to use Pax Charge for this. The Vastalock. So the Vastalock is a weapon that a lot of people should probably have access to, especially with Borrow coming back and like bringing everything again for TennoCon and things. The Vastalock also was given away for free at one point. If you don't have it, don't worry about it. Everything that we're going to be doing with it during this fight is not necessary. Things are just going to be a little slower for you if you're not doing it. We're using the Armor Strip build for the Vastalock, utilizing Shattering Impact. So, The way that the Shattering Impact works is that this reduces enemy base armor, and the pellets of the Vastalok deal impact damage. Because they deal any amount of impact damage, each hit pellet from the Vastalok is going to remove 6 base armor from the Eidolons. So it turns out, if you just shoot the Eidolon twice with the Vastalok, shooting them anywhere, as long as you hit them with all of the pellets, of course, you are going to get rid of the vast majority of the armor of the Eidolon. And the reason that we don't shoot it 3 times is because we don't want to get rid of all of the Eidolon's armor, because we're using radiation, which the Eidolon is weak to. The radiation damage will not only give us a 75% damage bonus, but it also pierces 75% of the armor that it is good against. That's just how armor works and how damage works. So we actually get more damage by severely reducing the amount of armor that these Eidolons have, as opposed to completely removing it. If you accidentally completely remove it, you're going to be more than fine. Don't worry about it. If you just want to shoot it 3 times and just not think about it, more than valid. But shooting it twice is generally going to be better, and there's technically optimization you could do with like hitting it with only so many pellets, but all that is not worth thinking about unless you're trying to get world record or something, and even then it's probably slower. With that, our companion, I am using a Sly Vulpaphyla. This just gives me dodge chance, and it is more survivable, and it doesn't die, and it keeps me with vacuum. That's really the whole purpose here. Nothing fancy going on. You don't use a Panzer for this, because the effect of the Panzer just doesn't really do anything for this fight. If you don't have a Sly and you do have a Panzer, it's going to be almost identical. Moving on. The thing that's actually very important for this fight, if you want to do it comfortably, the Void Rig is incredibly helpful for this fight due to the Archbex. Now, you'll note that this build is incredibly expensive. This is a 6 Forma build with 12 mods in the Void Rig. Now, here's the way that this works. If you have a Void Rig and you go, I don't want to do this. This looks like bullshit. So the answer is cut everything on the top row. Don't use any of these. And then you can cut Necromech efficiency, because the engine efficiency doesn't matter. Everything else you do really want. You don't really need Necromech redirection. This is probably the next mod after efficiency I would cut. But you can cut this entire top row super easily. Do not think about it. Do not worry about any of those mods. They are just like small additions, and you can cut Necromech efficiency and Necromech redirection. The rest of these are really, you really want them. Holding more energy is good. Ability duration is efficiency for your 4, which is really good. This is ability efficiency, which is for your 4, which you really need. This is your base survivability, which pairs really well with Necromech repair to make it so you never die. And also, that additional health is going to be converted into energy, so you can keep using your 4 with impunity and just never have to worry about it. If you don't have Necromech repair or Necromech rage, because they're very hard to get, you can do it without them. You might just run into some situations where you run out of energy, or your Necromech goes down and you have to shoot it with the sniper rifle, and that's fine. So yeah, lots of things that are cuttable here. Don't worry about it. The Mausolon, things are pretty normal here, but like, you know, it's just usual. I didn't even bother to change this off of what I'm regularly running on the Mausolon, because you just usually don't shoot this at the Eidolon at all. But here's the Mausolon build if you were looking for it. And then the Archbex, pretty simple here. This is a little 2 Forma build. Obviously, you don't need primed Rubido lined barrel. That's not necessary at all. And you can cut automatic trigger. That's not necessary at all. And then after that, I'd probably cut dual rounds or hypothermic shell. One of those is probably the best cut after that if you're just really trying to trim this list down and not use any Forma on this whatsoever. And this does way more than enough damage. This is what we use for popping the Synovias, because it pops them really fast. I am going to be using just the sniper rifle on Terry, and then moving to using the Void Rig on Ganta and Hydro, just because I want to show that the sniper can do it too. But regardless, that is the setup for the fight. We are also, in terms of our operator, we're using Maturai. Maturai is incredible for this and makes things way faster. Not only are we going to just do way more damage with Void Strike, allowing us to pop the shields instantly, it's also just general damage up with our amp critical damage, and also the efficiency is very good. Just generally more damage is really nice. And also, a thing that's very nice is the chain sling, allowing us to go much further with our Void Slings if we're going to be using that, though most of the time we will be using our Arcwing. Now, in terms of other operator stuff, in terms of your amp, obviously, from these fights, you usually get amps, but the amp we're going to be using entirely comes from Fortuna, which also most people won't have. This is a 777. If you want to know what a 777 is, you can check out the guide for it on Brozime.com. There's an explanation of what the amp numbers mean. But Just to go over quickly here, this is made out of the Clamora, Propa, and Certus Brace, which are like the max stuff you can get out of Fortuna. With that, we are using Eternal Eradicate, which you get from the Zaramon. This is on Operator ability, plus 60% damage, just raw. That is really good, it turns out. Our secondary arcane is Virtuous Strike. Now, there is a really decent argument for using Virtuous Shadow instead, because this is on headshot, going to give us critical chance. However, no one cares. I'm using the 7 front of the amp, and that is a pain to get a headshot with. So just on critical hit, getting more damage is fine. These are both very passive additions in terms of our damage, and that's what you're looking for because you're trying to do this in a chill way that is not going to be a colossal pain in the ass. And that's what our goal is here. Now, let's get into the mission itself. Okay, good for us. It's nighttime. Let's run out into the plains, and we're going to talk about getting started with this fight and how to kind of set up for it. I'm going to make some notes here and there where if you're lucky enough to have friends to do this with, about things that can make this fight more efficient, but still a solo guide, of course. First and foremost, whenever you get out into the plains, you want to jump into your Archwing and fly up. You'll see a blue glow wherever the Eidolon is spawning. You just want to wait until you see him and get a mark on him. If you're in a group, somebody else will do this, and you don't have to worry about it if you're the person getting the rest of the gear. Come on now, please. Please, marker just attached. There we go. And then once you've done that, you need to route for all of your lures. Helpful pause for me to talk about getting all the lures. Quickly talking about lures. First and foremost, here are the important locations. You start at this node here. The rest of them are all lure spawns. We go to this lure first, which is at the little like baby lake there. And then we move on over here to the corner. The reason we go to this one is because it is just the furthest away over here. This is the midway point on the way back. And then we do lures 4 and 5, which are in one of the locations above where you can see lure 4 and 5 marked here. Then, besides those, we have backup lure 1, which is just over at the top of Garatot Lake. And then we have backup lure 2, which is out at the Little Grenier camp out in the woods. In general, your path will look like this. This will be the path that you will take. You will have 4 lures, and then you can grab more at the backup lures if you want to have more safety and more, comfortable of a run, but you don't have to grab those. There are more lures on the map. These are the important ones. Let's move on. Okay, with that out of the way, let's go get all of our lures. There should be one here, although it can spawn on either side of the lake. Although it appears we don't have one this time for whatever reason. One didn't spawn here. Moving over to this side, we do have one spawning here. You want to just grab the lures. You can just use ciphers in order to hack these instantly. You should also have one over here. Grab the lure. Using the auto hacking to get this instantly. And we should also have one that is over here. You do need a bunch of lures because we are doing a full 3 stack. Did not want to hack for me for whatever reason. Once you have these 3, we can head over here to the middle point. There are going to be 2 lures here. There always are. And then you're just going to need to get both of them. They can spawn in a few different locations, but they're going to be basically on like the kind of moon edge of this from like over there, here, and then over here in this little crevasse type area. There can also be one. Now we have 5 of these lures. So if we go over here, the lures are going to teleport to us. Also, I have a bug on my screen. That's wonderful. These 5 lures? 1, 2... Oh, 2 of them are stuck together. Yeah, these 5 lures are going to be what we're going to need for taking down Terry. But before that, before we actually get down to the killing this big enemy part, these actually need to be charged up with Vomvolus. Vomvolus, you will hopefully have enemy radar for via your pet and also the aura that I run. But we need Vomvolus in order to charge these up. Once one of these icons turns blue, you can properly start Terry. And also, if you start Terry, he will start spawning Vomvolus, which I'd highly suggest. So activate Void Strike and then just blast his shields down. Once that's done, he should start spawning Vomvolus very periodically. Ideally, they would just spawn in general. Ideally, everything about this would be much simpler and more chill. Also, if you're in a group, if you're lucky enough to be in a group, the ideal is that you grab one of these so you can consistently charge just the one up while you wait around. In our case, that's much more of a pain to charge one up and then go get the rest of them, so just grab all of them. And you're going to need to kill a ton of Voms anyway. This is by far the slowest part of the entire mission because Vombalus spawn at a truly abysmal rate, even though you need like 9 of them to complete this fight, and we'd honestly be mostly done at this point. Yeah, and Trinity's Spore does work on the Vombalus, which is the whole thing that we're doing. Grabbing energy and just keeping ourselves charged up, throwing our 4 on, and so on and so forth. The Vombalist over here? No, it's just some Kavats, of course. There we go. We finally have a blue lure. Wonderful. Switch to our Rubico. Oh, and also, bang, bang. Something that was the full effectiveness of the script, but that's okay. There we go. Popped 1 leg. More lures are going to continue, or not more lures, more of the Vombalus are going to continue to show up, which is good, because we just need to get these things charged. Then once we enter this, it'll probably have been enough time that you can just use Void Strike again. And you will have to deal with, of course, being blown away. Although you can, it's worth noting you can edit the build in order to utilize it with Prime Sure-Footed, but it's usually not really necessary. Also, he's been charged up by some of the Voms. Usually you'll have somebody clearing the Voms if you're in a group, once again, making this considerably less annoying. But in our case, we are doing it solo. Oh, of course, there's another Vom that is not visually attached, it seems. They are somewhere, perhaps stuck underground. Oh, there they are. They can be very annoying to see. There we go. Take this out. This back on. Pop the knee. Okay, looking for more Vombalus. Use our 1 again. Pop this open. Pop the arm. We only have 1 charged up right now, and you do need multiple charged in order to get Terry captured. So we might be waiting around once again for more Vombalus to spawn, because that's our true curse, because we're doing this solo. There we go. Thankfully, the last phase spawns a bunch of them, or it's supposed to. So we should be fine. We do have the 2 that we need in order to just complete this. But ideally, we would have, at the very least, 2 more charged up at the end of this phase. Looks like the spawning is just not going to happen for us. 1 more has spawned over here. You can also blast them and then bring these with your operator to these charges. All right, and then because we do have the 2... Oh, good. Now they've all spawned. There we go. Nice. We have all 5 charged up. That's quite nice, actually. All right, now with that, all we have to do is just kill Terry. You can use Void Strike combined with the Rubico, which is what I would definitely suggest. If these boys would not be super annoying, because there's no one here that's clearing them, because I'm solo. And we live in hell. Take the shield down, and then just properly kill the boy. Kill all these guys so they don't kill my bombs. And you may be asking yourself, hey, wait, why are you doing this solo? And that's correct. But sometimes you just gotta do it solo, even though it sucks. All right, now with these close by, we can get him all captured. Some of our things are going to break, so you will have to go collect a couple more. Clear out all these annoying bombalists. All right. We do have 3 starters, so that's quite nice. All right. Now we just want to head to this little island in the small part of the lake here, or in the big part of the lake here, rather. Throw this on and we'll start spawning the next guy. But we need the game to work and let us launch our thing. And grab more bombs. This camp will usually have one. It's nice. Grab the hack there. While he is just spawning in. They always come out of the lake there, so you don't have to worry about like it being any kind of random location. We can also get one right here. With that, we're back to 5, which is plenty. We can go take out Gant. Oop, we're going to make sure that all of our bombs are protected. And we're going to use Void Strike to pop this shield. And now you get to use the Necromech. Summon the Necromech in, go into your 4, and start popping Synovia. You can see it is much faster, even though Gant is much tougher. I would highly, highly advise you use the Necromech for this as opposed to using the Rubico, as it is infinitely easier, but I did want to show that you can do it with just a regular gun. It's just going to be much slower. There we go. Pop the shield again. Throw another 4 out. Get back into the mech. Shoot the 4 at it. Throw the 4 back out. Free up our 1, which is, of course, the dispensary in this case. And then on our second cycle, or third cycle here, we can use our Void Strike just to do this instantly. Jump back in. There are 2 extra Synovias on the back of Gant, so there's more cycles for you to worry about. Please. Go. I want to throw that out. Throw this up. I just want to use your 2 on off cycles to make sure you get that damage bonus. Pop that shield. Oh, also, not that it matters, but you can strip the armor here. Get rid of some of these bombalists, which are super annoying. I believe that's all of them. Okay, shield's gone. Jump into the mech. Pop its back. Throw our 1 out, throw our 4 out, and so on and so forth. Nope, come on now. Throw this. Make sure and throw your 4, especially when the lasers are out, because Gant's lasers can swiftly kill any of these guys. We'll walk this over to the hill, so things will be slightly easier for us. Throw our 1 back out again. Get ready to pop this shield. Back in. Pop its arm. Now we're on our last wave, which is good. We can, of course, use the Necromech just to straight up kill him. We want to jump out of the Necromech. There we go. Put that on here. Put a heal on all of our lures once again. And then just try and make sure you get rid of all these annoying bombalists so that they don't put the shield back up on it. Alright, just jump into the Necromech. Throw the 4 on. And there we go, Gant's dead. Process is going to be much the same for everything else. We got a bunch of the bombs. And our guy popped, giving us all of the rewards that we need. We are back down to 2 lures, but we have 2 lures charged. We do need to go collect some more once again, which is going to be, again, much the same process. Jumping into the Arcwing here. Throwing this down just to get Hydro spawned. We should be able to head up here to grab some more. There we have this one. And can also grab the backup, which is over here. Yeah, there's 2 more. You do only need 3 for this. 5 is super safe. If you want to grab 5, I definitely would not blame you, especially if you are new at this. But 4 is 1 safety. And we didn't have the spawn happen over there, so we should be more than fine with that. All right, dropping in. We want our things to spawn here. Hit 4, hit 1, so on and so forth. Use our Void Strike to get that initial shield down, as it is the largest one. Then we can summon our Necromech and start getting these Cenobias popped. If you can start on the back Cenobias, they're the biggest pain to hit, and I would suggest that, but it's not necessary. Just taking the shield down. This has gotten a lot easier since like the rebalance of everything for operators, and doing this solo has gotten a lot simpler than it was in the past, but it's still kind of a pain. Also, we're running out of energy on this, so you want to just run over here and make sure you grab some. Also, hanging out in the Necromech can be useful if you want to just take some damage and just like let Hydro stomp on you a little bit. That can be really nice for just making sure you get some energy if you've got like a full build going. I'm going to take the shield down real quick, jump in the Necromech, pop its knees off, just absolutely kneecap this fool. You can see we're getting a lot of energy, especially from like the acid rain and such, which is very nice. Throw our 4 on. All of our stuff is still good. Want to throw our 1 out. Throw the 2 out here. Get the damage. Jumping over that. Getting that shield popped off. Back one's being a pain to hit, as I said before. There we go. Oh no, that was its other arm one. Try and position the Necromech a little better for next time. Make sure we hit our 4 to give all of our stuff invincibility. Well, not invincibility, but enough. Enough ability. Get rid of this Vombalist Bloom, which is just an annoying thing they can do. Get rid of all of these. Slam our shield down. And pop the shield off Hydro. Respawn our Necromech. As long as your Necromech has not died, you can just respawn it wherever you want. I believe we have 1 more knee left, so we want to get this over here. You have another Vombalist Bloom. These usually won't happen if you're in a group that's like clearing Vombalists at all. But because I am not in a group, it's more of a pain. You can pop that shield off. And we can get its last knee. Alright, and then we have all 4 of our things charged. They're all safe and everything. You just want to worry about making sure you clear some bombs out so they don't do anything annoying here. And then we're going to clean this up and, you know, get it going. Like I said, this is not the fastest way to do this, but I do find Trinity, this is her main job for me, is just to be a way to do this without, like, it being a colossal pain in my ass. So yeah. Obviously, Trinity's also very helpful in a group, though. If you want to be the babysitter that takes the lures on, you know, a little road trip and gets them all charged up, you can very much do that. And then have someone worry about, like, the DPSing of the shield and all this stuff. Splitting all those things up, it's just going to be really beneficial overall. And it's very nice at making this a more chill experience by adding people. There we go. Hydro's dead. The loot's going to explode out of one of our lures. And we're going to wrap this up and call it a day. Oh, it's got the Hydralisk sigil. Fun. There we go. There's all of our rewards and everything. All grabbed here. Of course, if you're looking to grab rep, you're going to want to grab pretty much all the things that pop out of the Synovia, all these like white markers that are all over. That's going to go for all of them. But yeah, that's doing it in a chill way. See, we have one left over here. But that's what's up. Let's see what arcanes we grabbed via doing this. What do you got for me? Arcane Eruption, Arachne, and Momentum. Hey, Momentum's the sniper arcane I mentioned earlier, so there's that. But yeah, we also got an Articula and a couple Transmuters. Fun. Bunch of rep, obviously, you know, multiple Brilliant Eidolon shards and so on. Good stuff all around. Pretty chill run, obviously very high investment. Please do this in a squad, not by yourself. Unless you're doing it by yourself just for brownie points, I guess, or whatever you'd like. Thank you for watching the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully it helped. And I will see you tomorrow.